Some guys really like Batman, and they had an epiphany. So they all got to work on the next Batman movie. And now they are the heroes, and you get to follow along. They're bringing him to life every week after this song. Batman, Project Batman, Project Batman. Fuck yeah! I, Ken,
that guy,
met my deadline. And that was by this Thursday, at the time we were recording this, April 18th, 2013. I was supposed to have the first 15 pages written. We chose to make 10 that magic number of the first act. So here's what I brought on my first rough draft run. I'm well aware that some parts of it are going to need editing, and I will admit that there are some lines in there that I threw in for amusement that I am aware might not work ultimately. But here's how we're going to do this. I will read all of the actions, and we're going to assign characters for scenes here with Sean and Otto. And Yay. Chris is going to be our audience we're performing to.
It's a serenade. You look so pretty, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. So, Vincent, you're going to be playing the role of Ra's al Ghul. Right. Sean, you're going to be playing the Alchemist. And Ubu.
Okay.
I will play Joe. Vincent will play Batman. And Sean will play Gordon.
Cool.
Then...
Just so you know, I won't remember this.
Okay. Well, okay. As we go into each scene, we'll say who each person is. So, for the beginning, all you guys need to know: Vincent's Ra's, Sean's the Alchemist. All right.
I'm Ken.
I'm the narrator. All right. Interior: unspecified house. Night. An alchemist in his 40s is mixing some ingredients with a mortar and pestle. The room is dimly lit by candles. Superimpose. Ostia, 1463. The alchemist hears a knock on the door and is visibly surprised. He's not expecting visitors. He walks to the door and opens it with caution. Angle on the alchemist.
What are you doing here? I told them not to send anybody this time. I'm leaving in the morning.
You're not going anywhere.
What is this about? Who are you?
The alchemist reaches for a staff that's sitting next to the door as the camera spins around to reveal a shadowy figure. Any Batman fan will recognize the silhouette of Ra's al Ghul.
My name is Ra's al Ghul, and I've come to destroy your abomination.
With that, the alchemist attacks with his staff, going immediately for a blow to the head. Ra's counters with a sword he wears on his back as he steps into the light, and an intense duel begins. They are very equal in their abilities. After 30 seconds of countering one another, the alchemist manages to grab a beaker containing a colored fluid. He breaks it over Ra's head. Ra's stumbles back, yelling in pain.
Ah!
The alchemist takes advantage of the moment, using his staff to pin Ra's body against his, lifting the broken beaker to Ra's throat. Ra's, dripping with chemicals, flinches, preparing for death. After a moment, he opens his eyes, realizing he's still alive. The alchemist releases him, and Ra's falls to his knees, panting. His sword lies inches from his hand.
Leave this place and take none of my creation. Use the time I've granted you to serve your planet.
The alchemist begins to walk away from Ra's.
As you wish.
Ra's spins around from his position on the floor to a standing position, facing the alchemist, sword in hand. The alchemist's body falls from where it stood. The sound of something rolling across the floor is all that can be heard. Our villain has decapitated the alchemist. We hear him sheath his sword. Exterior, unspecified house, continuous. Ra's silhouette exits the house, a vial in one hand, and the alchemist's staff in the other. There is an explosion, and the house is engulfed in flames. We focus in on the evil glow of Raish's eyes as he continues into the night. Interior, Raish's fortress, unspecified time. The silhouette of Raish Al Ghul walks away from us in very much the same manner he exited the alchemist's house. He is approaching a map the size of a wall mural. The room is a sandstone color, similarly lit by torchlight. Raish stares at the map. From his side, we recognize his right-hand man, Ubu, as he hands Raish a vial. The city directly in front of this exchange is labeled Gotham.
The first batch?
Good. Keep making more.
For where?
It doesn't matter. We have 8 days.
Gotham.
Gotham can wait. I want him to see them panic.
Again, we focus in on Raish's eyes. The music swells, and we fade into the opening credits. During the credits, we watch short sequences of our hero, Batman, fighting baddies from the past, Joker, Bane, Poison Ivy, etc. The images feel nostalgic, reminding us of Batman, the animated series. With our last credit, we settle on Exterior, Joe's Tavern, Gotham City, midnight. From the street, we see the store's manager, Joe, say goodnight to the guests he's holding the door open for. When they leave, he flips the sign on the window to closed, and the wheels of a vehicle pull up to the curb. The feet that step out belong to Gotham Police Commissioner James Gordon, who approaches the diner and knocks. Interior, Joe's Tavern. Continuous. Joe opens the door for Gordon. "You're not losing it, are you, Commissioner? New Year's is still a few months off."
Thanks for staying up, Joe. Is he here yet?
They begin walking to the corner booth. "I haven't seen him yet. Maybe duty called. There's always someone up to no good out there. I'm sure he'll be here soon. It ain't the end of the world yet."
Too bad.
Joe gasps, and they reach the booth to see Batman, sitting comfortably, already sipping from a mug.
Maybe then we'd finally get a night off.
"Holy hamburgers, Batman! You nearly gave me a heart attack."
Speaking of which, a double please, Joe, with bacon.
"Coming right up, Chief." He exits.
Long night.
Thanks to you. Believe it or not, speeding tickets and domestic abuse wasn't the reason I got into this business.
You would have preferred to bring Scarecrow back to Arkham? In tights?
I'd prefer not to have to do any of it.
What are you saying?
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, old friend.
Batman's demeanor becomes very serious.
Gotham needs you, Jim.
Stop projecting. You diffuse every situation before we even get there. GPD is such a safe job these days that even Barbara is showing interest in a position. Could you imagine that?
Barbara wearing a uniform? That'll be the day.
He sips his coffee. Gordon's radio goes off. "We had reports of 2 suspicious figures approaching Gotham First Bank and Trust."
Yeah, got it. Well, that's mine.
Batman's already gone when Gordon turns to him. A few dollar bills are slipped under the mug.
Go get 'em, Bruce.
Exterior Gotham First Bank and Trust. Continuous. 2 shadowy figures approach the door.
We aren't going in the vault, are we? I don't know how to crack a safe.
Just the drawers.
How do we do this without getting caught? Did Thorne give us something that takes care of security?
Nope.
But isn't there an alarm?
Robber 1 asks this question as 2 bust through the door pane.
I guess we better hurry then.
He reaches through the pane and opens the door. The dark interior begins flashing red.
Oh no, what do we do?
Just open the drawers and put the money in the bag.
They make their way to the teller windows.
I didn't sign up for this insanity. We're going to get caught. The police could be here any minute, or worse.
I can't believe Thorne sent me with the one guy who's still afraid of...
He's cut off by Batman crashing through the window behind him. Robber 1 spins around to see his greater fear towering over him, looking him in the eye. 1 drops his bag and cash, holding his arms over his head in fear.
I surrender. I give up. Go after him.
Robber 2 is running for the door, bag full of cash in hand. Batman drops in front of him. 2 immediately starts attacking, but Batman easily counters everything. After toying with him for a moment, Batman knocks him out and smirks, a situation easily diffused. BAM! We hear a shot, and a bullet grazes Batman's arm. His smirk turns to pain and quickly to anger. Robber 1 is shooting at Batman, his gun quivering with fear. Batman spins around to face 1 at the teller window, and as soon as he does, BAM! A bullet hits Batman square in the chest and he falls to the floor.
Did I get him? Holy crap, I got him! Thorne's gonna give me a raise for this, for sure.
Robber 1 picks up his bag of cash and runs toward the front door. Batman stands up quickly to try and run after him, but quickly falls to his knees. Panting, he notices the sound of sirens approaching the building. His vision blurs as he watches Robber 1 escape.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Using his grappling gun, Batman exits through the window he entered from. Interior, Batcave, later. Alfred, our hero's butler, enters the Batcave with a tray of food. The sound of an engine approaches rapidly. As Alfred reaches the bottom of the stairs, the Batmobile skids to a stop. The hatch to the Batmobile opens on the opposite side of Alfred.
You're in quite early, but I do know how you look forward to macaroni night.
Batman stumbles out of the car, grabbing onto the hood for support. His cowl is removed, and his suit is visibly bloody. Angle on Alfred as we hear the tray of food hit the ground.
Oh my, what happened?
Alfred runs to our hero's aid, helping him to the operating table.
Rough night.
Alfred cuts the length of the Batsuit to access his torso, and begins to wrap the wounds on his chest and arm.
Who did this, sir? Cobblepot? Thorne? I trust you responded properly.
I'm getting slower, Alfred.
To be fair, we expected that. Time isn't kind when it comes to age.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Why not give it up? Or at least take a break till I kick the bucket. We could go on a holiday until then.
You know I can't do that.
Right. More fair for me to watch another Wayne get killed.
Am I getting too old?
You're pushing 50, sir. It's a shock you've made it this far, going like you have. Maybe it's time to train another.
No, not after what happened to Tim.
Batman looks forlornly at Robin's suit, encased in glass. Alfred finishes wrapping the last bandage, and instinctively begins cleaning up the mess.
Sometimes, whether we like to admit it or not, there are too many signs for us to ignore, sir.
I can't just quit. I need to do something.
Alfred picks up the bloody rag that was the Batsuit.
Well, you'll need a new suit before you can do anything else.
A metaphorical light bulb goes off over Batman's head.
Alfred, your genius never ceases to amaze me.
Did I say something, sir?
Batman's still looking at Robin's suit.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, yes. After all, you've been fighting arch nemesis for the better part of 2 decades.
I do need a new suit.
Oh, of course you do, sir.
Exterior, Paris, Park, day. The silhouette of a biplane against a sunny sky is revealed to be a toy, being guided by a small French boy. He laughs as he runs through the park, surrounded by families enjoying their day out. The Eiffel Tower stands in the distance. As the boy runs and plays, a large metallic object falls in front of his path. He looks down at it, innocently befuddled. From an aerial view, we see a thick, orange gas cloud engulf the entirety of the city. Millions of voices scream in unison, briefly, before the gas evaporates, leaving the city in silence. A biplane flies across the screen, away from the city. Interior, Batcave, day. Batman finishes welding something. Alfred stands by, faithfully. Batman removes his welding mask.
That should do it.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
We pan back to reveal a mechanical, armored Batsuit that takes up nearly twice the space as his previous, less conspicuous outfit.
What about it could be bad?
You were shot in the chest 7 days ago, sir.
You should probably be out of the way for this. I might want some macaroni to celebrate.
Hint taken. Do be careful, sir.
I'll be fine.
I meant the cave. I just finished cleaning the bloodbath from your last accident yesterday.
Alfred exits. In a montage of intricate steps, Batman eagerly gets in his new toy. The mood is triumphant. Batman excitedly approaches the Batcomputer to start his high-tech obstacle course. When he tries to press the buttons, his mechanical fingers are too big for the keys. Batman is visibly frustrated with this anticlimactic change of pace. He causes the suit's armor plates to slide up under the upper armor, leaving his limbs and face bare. He punches a few buttons on the Batcomputer. The computer voice speaks. Training. Level 10. Initiate. Batman smirks as the armor reveals itself. The obstacle course begins. Targets reveal themselves. He performs incredibly, hitting targets immediately with projectiles we didn't know were there. They begin to appear all around him. He begins moving more quickly, grunting, struggling to hit all the targets. Batman pushes himself, trying for a perfect score. He begins to miss. He starts yelling in agony. He falls backward, clearly suffering from overwhelming pain. As he struggles to get back up, Alfred enters, runs to his side, and removes the helmet.
Let it go, sir.
I can't. Too heavy.
Just try to rest.
Even with the added strength, I can't move around in this.
I'm afraid there's even worse news.
Alfred flips the monitor on the Batcomputer to the news, displaying images of an empty Paris from above. Some are saying it's nuclear war, while others are suggesting early signs of the rapture.
Oh, God.
Perhaps we won't have to worry about our age for too much longer.
A whole city of people just disappeared?
Seems
How?
impossible. I'm sorry. Seems impossible. The whole world's in a panic.
Batman standing up.
And my guess is that someone out there is delighted by that.
You couldn't possibly think that, finding out who falls under your responsibility.
Batman walks closer to the Batcomputer, staring.
It couldn't hurt to take a look.
Might I suggest?
What reason is there to attack Paris?
Master Wayne.
It is the city of love.
Sir.
Whoever did this wants mass hysteria. They're probably nowhere near it, but it's the only logical place to start.
Batman pivots to walk toward his flying ship, the Batwing.
Bruce Wayne.
Batman stops. He is visibly not used to an outburst of this volume from Alfred.
You nearly gave yourself a heart attack not even 5 minutes ago. Please, Master Wayne, take one night to rest in your bed in your parents' house, and I'll make a big breakfast in the morning before you leave again to get yourself killed halfway around the world.
A beat passes as Batman stares at his feet, taking in these words. He looks then to Alfred, and from him to the news footage, the Batwing, the helmet of the bat armor on the floor, and finally back at Alfred. He nods, and Alfred walks him up the stairs, exiting the Batcave. The lights cut off, leaving images of the news glowing on the Batcomputer screen.
That's fucking good.
That was fucking good.
That is amazing.
Alright.
Now,
And I suppose what we're going to do for the next 45 minutes is tear it apart.
yes.
Okay. So I tried to make a mental note of things while we were at the beginning, way at the beginning. There's the dialogue at the beginning between the alchemist and Ra's seems kind of awkward.
Okay.
It's
Feel free to say whatever you want. Edit
like
it however. This is a group effort.
okay.
But what we get done tonight, I am sending to my screenwriting class
Okay.
for them to judge that. So
The Raish's line, I've come to destroy your abomination. That sounds kind of like something he would say, but part of me doesn't feel he'd be so blunt.
okay.
I really like the line that we had before. It was something to the tune of the alchemist asks Raish why he's here, and Raish says something to the tune of, "You know very well why I'm here." And the alchemist simply says, "Yeah, I think I do."
Okay.
And that's when he grabs the staff and attack. And that actually, he says, "I think I do," as he's reaching for the staff.
Okay.
And then the very next beat is the alchemist attacking.
Okay, so I'm giving you the fucking reins here to tell me exactly what to change.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but you nailed Alfred perfectly. Like, it reminded me just of that show. Like, he was funny and yet serious. I was like, that was perfect.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great. The characters are great. Okay, so basically,
I picked. All right, just so we go chronologically. Ostia, I just typed in outskirts of Rome. That's a city on the outskirts of Rome.
okay,
I just picked 1463. I thought we'd be around that time.
okay. I think Raish's line, "My name is Ra's al Ghul, and I've come to destroy your abomination," better flow if he said something. "My name is Ra's al Ghul." No. Ties back to what the alchemist says, and you know exactly what this is about. Okay, and then the alchemist has.
Well, that's why I had the line. I told him not to send anybody this time. I'm leaving in the morning. Like that's him already admitting. Well, okay, no, wait, I get why you're saying that. He thinks that the alchemist thinks that Ra's is just somebody sent from somewhere else to pick up this cure. Until Ra's is visibly not that guy and has another agenda.
If that's the case, "I'm leaving in the morning" should be, "I'll be leaving myself in the morning."
Okay.
Just to imply that.
I'll be bringing it myself in the morning.
I'll be bringing it myself in the morning. There you go.
I'll be leaving myself.
Or I told them I'd bring it myself in the morning.
Okay.
That way we can combine those two lines.
Yeah. And then after Ra's says, "You know exactly what this is about," the alchemist would say, "You're right. I think I do." And as he says this, he's reaching for the staff, which is propped up by his door.
Okay.
And this was an idea that I had, this unrelated screenplay, but with the staff, I wanted the alchemist's staff to be something that wasn't like ornate, like a staff from Lord of the Rings, but at the same time not just a plain stick. I want him to just carry like a plain wooden staff with just some profound phrase inscribed on it in Latin.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, when people are animating this, that you're not going to see it, but you can. I've got it. We'll come up with the thing that it says now, and when he's reaching for the staff, you actually see what it says.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And it'll say something clever and vaguely relevant to the alchemist's character or this scene or something.
Okay.
Like an Easter egg or something.
For those nerdy people who are gonna translate the Latin, and I wouldn't. It'd be extraneous to put the actual the Latin phrase in the screenplay, as long as you say a phrase inscribed on the staff in Latin.
Yeah.
Is yada yada yada, and
Right.
which, funnily enough, is actually Latin right there. Yada 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 is actually a Latin sentence.
That's awesome.
Complete coincidence.
Also,
it's one of the few things I remember from Latin class.
Also, the phrase "my bad" is derived from Latin.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Oh wait. So the alchemist line is, "You're right. I
Think I do.
think I do." Okay.
And I imagine the alchemist's voice being something similar to Sokka and Katara's dad from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah,
Well,
sort of a man in his 40s, just a really average guy.
Is there anything special about the staff?
Yeah, other than the symbolism, no.
Okay.
All right. So, do we want to leave the alchemist reaches for the staff before Ra's says his name?
No.
Okay. So.
Any Batman fan will recognize it. Put what the camera's doing, or the camera spin. Yeah, there you go. You had what the camera was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So after "you're right, I think I do." With that, the alchemist grabs a staff propped next to his door.
Yeah. And what should the staff say?
I don't know any Latin.
I mean, it doesn't have to. Think of something in English. We'll translate it to Latin later. Something profound, maybe about good and evil or something.
I said the only Latin I know was right here.
Chris's disembodied arms mounted upon the staff.
They could be the staff.
It's just like when he goes to hit Rach with it, it's just all floppy. Turns it into nunchucks. That's whack. It's like in
Get him slapped.
It's like in Looney Tunes when somebody gets slapped with a fish.
I can come up with something badass, but not right now.
It's too bad that there's something really poetic that I think my dad wrote that would be cool on there, but I guarantee you it's too long.
Yeah. What about just a few words from it?
Trying to figure out what few words would get the point across. But
What is it?
Basically, it's a shadow cannot exist in total darkness and is strongest in the brightest light.
That's awesome.
I have to wonder how that translates into Latin. Because Latin has this weird thing where either you can make a 3-word sentence in English, 50 words, or the other way around.
Yeah. What is it?
A shadow cannot exist in total darkness and is strongest in brightest light.
After the word darkness, in a strongest.
And is strongest in brightest light.
Alchemist. You're right. I think I do. With that, the alchemist grabs his staff that is propped up next to the door. It has the words, "A shadow cannot exist in total darkness, and is strongest in brightest light," in Latin, inscribed on it.
I'd say instead of with that, I'd say as he speaks.
Alright.
And instead of grabs, says reaches for. And I'm imagining he slowly
Right.
gets it. Hold on. Now I can paraphrase that into something shorter, I think. I'm not sure if it relates at all to the alchemist, but shadows flee the darkness.
I like that. I like that more. And it doesn't need to relate to the alchemist because nobody knows who it is.
Either that or shadows seek the brightest light.
There it is.
Shadows seek the brightest light.
Alright.
Okay. And the I think there were only 2 other things. And I have to say, your screenplay formatting is absolutely fantastic. This looks very professional.
It does.
That's final draft for you. That's not me.
There's a screenplay formatting thing? Or something?
The final draft is just, that's the screenwriting software. Like, you can't sell a script if it's not written and formatted in Final Draft.
Ah, okay.
It's like a $200 program.
Good day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? Where it says Raish spins around from his position on the floor to a standing position facing the alchemist, sword in hand. The alchemist's body falls from where it stood. The sound of something rolling across the floor is all that can be heard. Our villain has decapitated the alchemist. We hear him sheath his sword. The reason it's all phrased like that is because I just imagine this shot like from the knees down of where Raish was, like on his hands and knees panting, and then he just stands up, like he was right here, and then he just stands up, and the camera's still down there at his knees, and then the alchemist, who was walking that way, his body just falls, and where his shoulders land, that's out of frame. So it's still just continuing a shot of Raish's legs and the guy's body on the ground, and we just hear something rolling, and we hear the sword sheath.
And I gotta say, I love the alchemist holding the bottle to him. Using that as the weapon of death, and he's just like, no, this isn't me. And then he's just like, yeah, fuck this. The other thing is that we see the house explode, and here's as he sheathes his sword, there needs to be one small scene in between the two. And I was actually envisioning this right after we read it. He goes to the alchemical lab, apothecary, whatever the fuck it is that he's got there, identifies a few chemicals and pours them into something. Pours them into a convenient cauldron or beaker of some sort. Then he smirks and leaves. That way we see what causes the explosion.
But, okay.
As opposed to there just being a random explosion or whatever.
Well, the guy is clearly a chemist dealing with chemicals. So that's already accounted for. And there's this rule in screenwriting called enter late, exit early. Which is, if you can not directly tell the audience what happens and they figure it out on their own based on missing pieces, that's way more entertaining 100% of the time. So we already know there's chemicals in the shed. We just saw Raish kill a guy. As soon as he walks out of the shed and we see an explosion, we can put together what happened.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, and the other thing,
I know we didn't zoom in on his eyes and then come back.
I like it. I like the way you had it better.
Okay, yeah, I envisioned this shot of like him walking out, like we're looking dead on at the house. He walks out of it towards the camera. We just see the house normally. It explodes as he's walking towards us. Flames are rising up, and he walks past the camera. Like, as his eyes reach the camera, that's when the screen goes black, cutting to him walking away from the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to be, like, directing this. I just, like as I'm writing it, it's just, like, I can only envision it in my head when I'm writing it, you know?
Yeah.
So if any of you guys feel any differently about any ideas, I have to direct when I write, as I'm writing out a scene, but if any of that needs to be changed, I'm totally fine with it. So just let me know.
And here was the other thing in this scene that... Why do we have unspecified time here for when we come
because there has to be... Oh, that means time of day. It doesn't matter when it is, really. You just have to do that, and you have to give a time of day for all of your new scenes.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean 2009.
Because I was thinking immediately after that, you see New Cuba 2009 superimposed.
Okay.
Then you know where they are.
All right.
And the fact that this whole thing's taking place in 2009 is actually really central to the concept.
Yeah.
So...
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you there. All right. So right after the room is sandstone color, similarly lit by torchlight, as he's walking up to the map,
yeah,
we'll have it do Super New Cuba 2009. Right?
Yep. Sounds right. And the only other thing that I found that weirded me out was when... I feel the... it's the next scene when...
so you like the exchange with Ubu and Raish?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that last... I want him to see them panic. It's like he's goading Batman. But, okay. I feel the exchange between Batman and Gordon could be added to slightly.
Okay. I had that feeling, too, of it not really lasting very long, but at the same time, I got out everything that I wanted to get out, so I didn't know what else to do, but I'd be very curious and love to hear your suggestions. Did that play correctly without, I envision, Gordon's like, is he here yet? Joe's like, no, nobody's here yet. And then, as they're walking to the booth, the Batman
No, I saw that. I didn't see it coming when it happened. I was just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Totally Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea that Batman's already got his own coffee.
Yeah, I like that.
Wait, how did he get his own coffee?
He waits for no man.
Yeah. Joe was opening the door, man. Bruce needed a sip.
Nobody wants to see Batman without his coffee.
Yeah, there needs to be a little more added between when Batman says Barbara wearing a uniform. That'll be the day. And I like how it's Batman that says that as opposed to Gordon. That makes a little more sense. Between that and when his radio goes off, have them discuss Barbara a little further. Not the commissioner thing, but as sort of like why their relationship went south or something like. I'm trying to figure out a conversation involving Barbara that would, because without any other context here, Go Get 'Em Bruce feels really weird and out of place, as if they've shared nothing personal in this moment.
Well, he just told him he was thinking about retiring.
Well, I mean, but
I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, I feel that that's what I'm thinking is that Barbara should. Yeah. Okay. Here's how it can play out. Okay, Barbara wearing a uniform. That'll be the day. He sips his coffee, and then Gordon says, "It really is a shame things didn't work out between her and he pauses and Bruce. I wonder why that could have been. No, because Joe is still, I'm guessing, in the restaurant.
Yeah, but he's back getting Gordon's food.
But I mean, like, I don't think they'd talk openly about it. Oh, it needs to be clear that Gordon's whispering "Go Get 'Em, Bruce" to himself.
I thought about this. I'm not that worried about it. Once Joe walks off screen, to the audience, he's gone.
But the thing is that he was saying that more to himself than he was to Batman.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it needs to be specified. Like, he's clearly not saying it to Joe. When we animate it and get the voices, it'll.
If that person isn't on the screen, then that person is dead.
But yeah, definitely more dialogue between the exchange about Barbara and and Gordon's radio going off. Maybe it doesn't even have to be about Barbara, but maybe it can be about something. But something that can make a really, really sharp listener maybe think, hold on, does Gordon know who this guy is? But it'll go right over most people's heads until he drops the line.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think on that? I hear a vague mm-hmm.
No, I'm just thinking. It wasn't me. It wasn't me writing you off. I mean, that's how. I'm not writing. You know, when you're trying to think of the right line of dialogue, when you're sitting there alone in front of a screen, it can take 5 minutes sometimes for just one line. So I'm just thinking. But you know, when I enter a scene and I'm like, we've done so many notes on each scene, I'm like, here's all the stuff that needs to be hit. Okay, Gordon's going to bring up he's thinking about retiring. We want to mention that Barbara is showing interest in it. We want Gordon to say something about how Bruce always diffuses the situation. We want basically them just being shown having some time, some personal time together on their off moments. And then it end with a call and "Go Get 'Em, Bruce." That indicates that Gordon knows who Bruce is. That was the checklist. Anything besides that seemed extraneous. Mm-hmm. If we can make it feel natural, then cool.
Yeah, because right now, what it feels like right now is the scene that this is related to in the show, which felt really short and rushed.
Well, see, and that's why it made me feel okay. Because that scene in the show was memorable to us and made an impression on us to be able to write this scene, even though it was still only a second long.
But the thing is at least in my case, is that is the one thing I didn't like about that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have this tradition to meet there every New Year's, aren't they gonna say something to each other?
Yeah.
But
well, and Gordon just ordered a fucking sandwich. He probably plans on being there for a minute, but then duty calls. Oh, I want you to know I'm totally not arguing with anything you're saying. I'm simply letting you know what headspace I was in.
Okay. I know where we're going with this. Okay, so, and then, Batman says, Barbara wearing uniform, that'll be the day. And he sips the coffee. And then Gordon says, well, anyway, I've made up my mind. I'm thinking about retiring, and I wanted you to be the first to know.
Okay.
And I think that alone might... Well, I wanted you to be the first to know,
all right.
given our history, relationship, something.
Okay. That'll be the day. He sips his coffee. An awkward beat of silence passes. Gordon sighs before reluctantly announcing. What did you just say? Well, I've made up my mind.
Yeah, anyway, I've made up my mind.
Okay. I'm retiring at the end of the year.
At the end of the year... I'm retiring as soon as I sense Gotham has a quiet moment.
What if he didn't specify he was retiring? Just saying something like at the end of the year, we could have more time to sit and do our thing or whatever. Something like that.
What would he ask him there, though, to ask him, well, hey,
guy, I can be at the cafe more often kind of thing, yeah. Unless he was gay for him. I don't think that's the case.
So Batman, what you doing?
Well, see, Gordon just said that he was doing speeding tickets and house calls all night. So I feel like he feels like...
the quiet moment line doesn't really work.
Gotham already has a...
Yeah, okay.
Down slope.
But,
I'm retiring at the end of this year, and I wanted you to be the first to know. That works as far as I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, I can live with that.
With the history we've shared, I wanted you to be the first to know.
Yeah, I like that. I like considering better than with. Considering the history we've shared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works better.
It's all about number of syllables.
Yeah. The cadence of,
So how... let's see how the Gordon Batman scene goes again from when Joe exits.
Okay. Coming right up, Chief.
Long night.
Thanks to you. Believe it or not, speeding tickets and domestic abuse wasn't the reason I got into this business.
You would have preferred to bring Scarecrow back to Arkham? In tights?
I'd prefer not to have to do any of it.
What are you saying?
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, old friend. Batman's demeanor becomes very serious.
Gotham needs you, Jim.
Stop projecting. You diffuse every situation before we even get there. GPD is such a safe job these days that even Barbara is showing interest in a position. Could you imagine that?
Barbara? Wearing a uniform? That'll be the day.
He sips his coffee. An awkward beat of silence passes. Gordon sighs before reluctantly announcing, anyway, I've made up my mind. I'm retiring at the end of the year. Considering the history we've shared, I wanted you to be the first to know. Gordon's radio goes off. We have reports of 2 suspicious figures approaching Gotham First Bank and Trust. Yeah, I got it. Well, that's my... Batman's already gone.
That sounded good.
Yeah, I think that extra thing with Gordon makes it feel a little better. It's still not long. It's only a few seconds longer, but I think that extra.
Yeah. All right. Now, fucking tear apart this robber bullshit that annoyed the fuck out of me to write.
Actually, one last thing on the Gordon scene.
Okay.
I'm thinking he should pause briefly between Go Get 'Em and Bruce. Go get him, Bruce.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Like pause and smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sips his coffee one more time before we leave.
Yeah.
Does he ever get his food? That's what I'm wondering.
He is dead, Chris. He was no longer on screen and died. Move on.
And then no, he gets to the bank. He's like, fuck, I gotta leave. And then and then while he's at the bank, he gets another radio. Yeah, Joe got shot. We're rolling it a suicide because, well, apparently he thought it would be funny to put a gun in your sandwich. I don't know why he thought that would be funny, but yeah, it got him killed. So apparently it wasn't. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, the robber scene. I like the two shadowy figures. I actually really like the dialogue.
So did I.
Okay.
like
No, don't do that. Okay.
I definitely got the sense that Robert number 1 was a pussy, and that was good.
I give up. Go after him.
Although if he was so scared, why did he pull the trigger?
It was probably like this.
Well, he probably felt safe once Batman was across the room attacking his buddy.
That's true.
Gave him a moment to act.
I love Batman's interest. I can't believe Thorne sent me with the one guy who's still afraid of it, and then he gets hit by Batman.
I love stupid little shit like it'll never come up again, but mentioning that they work for Thorne, and then like Batman was transporting Scarecrow earlier that night. That stuff makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm thinking the robber scene's pretty good, and I didn't notice anything wrong with any of Alfred or Batman's exchanges.
No.
Dude, I love Alfred. I love writing Alfred so much.
We found your niche, I think.
This line, sometimes whether we like to admit it or not, there are too many signs for
I
us
like
to
that.
ignore, sir. I'd like that to somehow, maybe after Alfred dies, something, somewhere, I don't know, Talia say it. Somewhere to ignite a moment in Bruce later. Like that exact line. It's like a very cliche thing to say that somebody could say that they wouldn't know they were quoting someone, but it happened to Bruce, or Alfred said
I like
to
it.
Bruce. Okay. We'll figure out a way to work it back in later.
Okay, also there's an F in Alfred.
All red. If Batman isn't obsessed with macaroni, I understand.
Batman does not eat nachos.
I saw that clip actually.
I really like the macaroni thing. It was funny.
It came up 3 times.
But so, something about it, I think the only thing weirding me out here is this line. Is that the delivery feels weird.
Of what?
Alfred, your genius never ceases to amaze me. Something about delivering that was really weird.
Okay.
So
I had it just as Alfred, you're a genius, but you suggested that he had done that before, and that you wanted to like indicate that Alfred has given Batman ideas like that without meaning to before. But we can change it back to Alfred, you're a genius.
Maybe, but I don't think it's the wording. I think it's how. I think it's just. Again, maybe there's a pause or something, or maybe it's like Alfred.
Did I say something, sir? Your genius never ceases to amaze me.
There you go. Yeah, that's how it goes. Perfect. That feels a lot better. Yeah. Okay. Because it was in response to the whole when he says, "Did I say something? Did I say something, sir? I mean, come on, look at this. It's ruined." And then I said, "No."
Well,
I don't know. It's just, I figured we could get one more catchy Alfred thing in there. But.
Well, we do in the next line, actually, because it says, earlier Alfred was saying how he needs to quit because blah, blah, blah. And then, well, you'll need a new suit before you can do anything else. Alfred, did I say something, sir? Your genius never ceases to amaze me. You're absolutely right. Oh, yes. After all, you've been fighting arch nemesis for the better part of 2 decades. I do need a new suit. Oh. Of course you do, sir.
There we go.
That sounds really good.
I love Batman just being oblivious to to Alfred's jabs.
And he's probably been dealing with it for 20 years. Probably tunes it out.
Yeah.
It's very selective hearing.
And did you get what I was saying with the Paris thing? It looks like we're seeing a biplane go over the city, but we pull back and it's just a kid playing with a toy biplane.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, it seemed like a little kid playing in a park. Seemed really happy, and shit starts sucking real fast.
And I'm envisioning the Abaddon emitting device is just like a big metal sphere.
Okay.
Or something like that. Where you said a large metallic instead of object, it should be sphere. Or something. I don't know.
Okay.
A large metallic sphere
Write it.
falls in front of us.
A large metallic triangle.
A large metallic. Two-dimensional. Kid goes by it, he just sees a line.
What the hell is this?
I think when you see the biplane shadow, you should actually hear a biplane.
Oh, you mean when we first get in Paris?
Yeah, well, yeah, and when you see the kids, you see the shadow playing with the toy,
Right.
but you hear a biplane.
Right.
That you should add something about that. I don't know how you'd phrase that to make sense in the screenplay, but it makes sense in my head. You hear the engine.
It'll just be a sunny sky. We hear the plane, and then we see the toy plane,
Mm-hmm.
and
then when the kids, and then when it shows that it's actually a kid holding it, you hear the kid going.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't even think we need to note that in the script, but we have it noted on the recording, and
Okay.
I take notes of every recording. So
Now I have an idea. What if the trees emitted the Abaddon serum?
like the happening.
Just like that.
And then we get Mark Wahlberg to play Batman.
Hey, is that orange gas? Hey, is that orange gas? Say hi to your mother for me. Okay.
Project Batman, ladies and gentlemen.
So then after Paris, we're in the Batcave. Keep editing me
Okay.
until we catch up.
Okay, this is a really nitpicky thing, but it's something that somebody else might get.
that.
You can't just stand there and watch somebody welding. If you see the welding equipment happening, UV rays are entering your eyes, even if you're 30 feet away. You can actually get sunburned on your retinas from staring at a welder. Forget what they call. I think they just call it welder's eye, but Alfred, if he's present at the welding,
Just standing by with his arms behind his back, just with the welding mask on.
or at least glasses, yeah.
No, I think that's funny. I like it.
Okay, but I mean that's just basic from working in a machine shop. I know that when you're near a welder, you don't want to
Be near a welder.
They both remove their welding mask.
There you go.
When I did welding, I never wore a mask. I hated it. I couldn't see what I was doing.
You can't see what you're doing now. I love how he's really enthusiastic. I love how Batman's really enthusiastic about the suit, and then it ends up not working.
Oh, is the finger thing too cartoony? It made me laugh way too much when writing it to not include it. I totally get if we can't include it, but just him getting all the music swelling dun 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 dun. Alfred went away. Batman's all alone. Yes, I have this new armor. I'm so excited. Dun 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 dun. Walks over to the training thing. Goes over to his computer. And then he has to like press some button and it all folds into him, and he just looks like an old man again, and he's like, do 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 do. Training initiated. Then
His mask doesn't fold until he starts the training sequence, at the very least.
Okay.
Because that's supposed to be a big epic shot.
Okay.
It does seem really cartoony, but that said, I like it.
It's almost like as if it's a cartoon.
But
This is an animated feature.
Now, hold on. I'm thinking because I really do like it, but we have to remember that we're going for the animated series here, and the animated series did stuff like that sometimes, but I don't think they ever did it with Batman. I mean, they do it if like the Joker or Harley Quinn or maybe even Penguin or something. But like the tone of the shot generally seems to be associated with the personality of the character in the shot.
I see what you're saying, and that in itself is why this specifically made me laugh so much, is because Bruce would hate how cartoonishly that moment was playing. And that's why it still seemed faithful to the character. But I understand if you want to omit it, and I'm totally fine with it because I got the amusing idea on record.
I think as long as there's no like whop 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 sort of thing, and you just see that he's mad about it. It's like,
yeah, and it was sort of like a little bit of levity, even if like Batman didn't want there to be any levity. He didn't know that that everyone in Paris just died, and it literally within the course of a minute goes from everyone in Paris dying to Batman almost having a heart attack and finding out about Paris dying. So it was just sort of a little moment of levity in between those two. But I'd also totally get if we want the mood to stay the same. That's something we can think about. We can leave it in for now and think on it or whatever.
I'd say keep it. I'd also say listen to what your class says, because your class may have better points than we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your teacher might as well, because I'm going to guess that your teacher's going to look at it too.
Yeah.
teacher, now let them do all the
yeah. Fuck it. You guys do the homework. Classmates grade the homework. I'll sit back here and collect the money.
I would like to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
Isn't that going to be like the next episode of the podcast?
Yeah.
I had an idea the other day that I think Otto called you about making the two thugs enter the bank like have race symptom.
Right. I liked that idea. What was the reason we were weary about it? Because like
one,
at
it would
first,
disrupt our ending.
that was my primary reason. Would be it disrupting the ending. But like when he first said it, I was like, "Oh man, that could totally work." But also, I love how this one character was such a nobody for our ending to work with what happens to Batman over the course of the whole story. But that is not to say we couldn't implement race hiring some other people to fuck something up at some point in this.
This is true.
The other thing is a pacing thing. Now, I'm guessing that the montage of intricate steps of Batman getting in the bat armor, I'm thinking that, and for the purposes of later in the scene, which I'll say in a second, I'm thinking that instead of that, it's a really simple in and out operation. It just opens and closes in some very simple fashion. Because they leave the Batcave, and Alfred walks him up the stairs. He's got to get out of the suit at some point if it's too heavy for him.
Yeah, I forgot when I was writing that between him being on the floor and leaving for the Batwing, He still has that suit on.
Yeah, but
He
like
could just-
before he leaves up the stairs, he should. If he's talking about it being too heavy, his next step will be to stop wearing it.
Right. Well,
So-
wait. I think my thought on that was when Alfred runs up to him and is like, "Let it go, sir," and then he pulls off his helmet, and then he's like, I have worse news," and then he turns on the news. I guess I didn't write it down, but somewhere in that moment, he's just like, as they're watching the news, Batman is just getting out of the suit. And also, I thought about the logistics of the suit getting put on, because I went and watched Disappearing Ink when he goes from just being normal standing there, Bruce, to the armor just like revealing itself. But when the armor's just sitting in the cave, like in the glass, like it's all big and out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was looking at when I was drawing the storyboards today.
Okay, I think that's it in its natural state. I think that's a bitch to put on. This is all just like guessing because we haven't seen that. And then once it's on and you're wearing it and it like knows, I was going to say knows like the fit of your body, but it's built for one person. But like once it's on, then it can slip up under itself and adapt to whatever you're wearing. So that's why it seemed like it was an intricate process for him to put on the first time, but maybe not after he has it on and then he makes it all fold in on itself and then he presses the buttons. Then it can all just reveal itself again.
Okay, but you need to put something about that in there, because otherwise it just looks like this thing's too heavy. I'm just going to wear it all day.
Okay,
because that was sort of that felt missing.
Okay.
When we were looking at it.
So even with the added strength, I can't move around in this. I'm afraid there's even worse news. Alfred flips the monitor on the back computer to the news, displaying images of an empty Paris from above. And that's when the reporter says, "Some are saying it's nuclear war, while others are suggesting early signs of the rapture." Do we want to, while the reporter's saying that, Alfred could just be helping Batman out of the suit?
I think shortly after that, because they're going to be listening at that point.
Right.
After they get that.
Well, I just assumed it would sort of happen over the course of a few lines. Him getting out of that suit.
Okay.
Alfred enters, runs to his side, and begins to help Bruce remove the suit.
Okay. And then starting with the helmet? Or is it established beforehand that he takes the helmet off first?
Starting with the helmet.
Okay.
Alright.
You should save this version as a copy so you can see the changes that you had.
Well, I just saved our changes just now to this one way, and we have our original reading at the beginning of this.
So if we ever need a reference.
Now, I would like you to just finish reading through the scene to yourself just to make sure it plays correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely got a thing for waiting for Alfred.
You know, honestly, what it was? I mean, I always knew this animated series growing up. I wasn't, like, in love with it, but I saw it, and, like, that's the Batman I think of. But within the course of... Since Batman Begins, man, that's just... I hate to say this because we're doing the Batman movie in the DCAU, but that's the Batman in my head. Like, that's what I want Batman to be, that fucking serious, real world, like... And I just put Michael Caine's British accent in my head and wrote from that. And that's why he says stuff like, "Oh, we'll just go on holiday till then."
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it sounds too Michael Caine-y, Alfred, sometimes, but they're pretty much the same character.
Yeah, Michael Caine was awesome. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think of when I think Alfred.
Yeah. Okay.
I think his voice definitely, that gets me.
What do you think, Vincent? Got our first act locked? Rough,
I think we got it.
rough draft number 1?
Rough draft number 1. First 12-ish minutes of the film.
That's awesome.
That's an accomplishment.
And between those little action sequences and the opening credits, I assume we're about 15 minutes in.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So, who was the closest to winning?
Well, the scenes we outlined last time end on the middle of page 9.
So, how many minutes is that? About a minute a page.
We'll say it's about 9 or 10 minutes into the movie. I think I guessed 8.
You guessed 6, because I guessed 7.
No, I guess 7.
I guessed 7.
Man, I did guess 6.
I guessed like 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now,
He cheated because he wrote it.
I wrote to our bet. Okay. You guys happy with our progress today?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Between that and what storyboards we got done.
Yeah,
Fuck.
we didn't talk about that at all. We'll talk more about that next time, but Sean's made headway on some awesome storyboards, and so has Vincent.
Yeah, I actually drew things because apparently I can do that now.
Wow, man. That first act was
Undiscovered
incredible.
skill.
Thank you.
No problem. I mean, God. It's perfect. That's like what I would think of. It's perfect.
So, since I wrote this first act, I know I did our outro for our episode last time. Can I do this one?
Okay.
No, Project Batman.